Hi, my name's Nick from Portainer, and in this video I'm going to show you how easy it is to deploy a stack using Portainer. Now, a stack can consist of many containers to create a service. Now, a service is, and for example, and the example that we're going to be using in this video is WordPress. So WordPress will consist of two containers. It will have the front-end container, which is WordPress itself, and a back-end container, which is the database for WordPress. So before we actually get started with the deployment, let's jump into our official documentation and we'll start there. So this here is our official documentation, and a link to this will be in the description of this video, so make sure to check that out. And you can see here we have four options. We have the web editor, upload, Git repository, and custom templates. We're just going to be focusing on the web editor option for this, so let's just quickly read the overview for this. So it's saying here, use our web editor to define the services for the stack using a Docker Compose format. So all of the stack deployments follow the Docker Compose format. So if you already have Docker Compose files, you can upload them, use them in the Git repositories, or again, we've got the web editor option, which I'll be showing in this video. So what we will do is let's jump over to Portainer and let's go through the process of deploying a stack. So what you can see here, this is my instance of Portainer, and you can see I just have one environment. So what we want to do is we want to click on our local environment here. So let's click. And you can see on the left hand side, it's given us some options now. And we can see the third option here is stacks. So that's where we want to go for this deployment. And you can also see that I currently have 0 stacks running. So if I click in here, there's nothing. And it's also taken us to the stacks option on the left. So it's the same as if I were to click on that. So on the top right hand here, we've got add stack. So that's where we want to go. So let's click add stack. And you can see here those four options we just discussed that were reflected in the official documentation. They're also here. So web editor, upload, repository, and custom template. Again, we're just focusing on the web editor option here. Let's give our stack a name. I'm just going to call it WordPress. And in the web editor, you can see here it's saying we can get more information on the Compose format in the official documentation link there. So again, all of this follows the Docker Compose formatting. And we can also see that here as well. Define or paste the content of your Docker Compose file here. So I already have that in my clipboard, so I can just hit paste. And let's just have a quick look at what we've got here. So you can see here, like I mentioned at the very start, we have two services. So we have WordPress, and we have the database, which is running MariaDB, okay? And we're also going to create two volumes here as well. We're also defining all of our environment variables within the web editor, but we actually provide you some other options for defining those environment variables as well. So let's just quickly have a look at that. So if you want, you can actually select here to add an environment variable. So rather than defining them here, you could define them down here as well. So let's just close that. You can also, if you have an environment file, you can also upload that directly to Portainer as well. We also give you an option if you want to use them. You can use webhooks for doing redeployments. That's an option there that you can enable if you like, but we're just going to leave that disabled as default for this video. So I'm quite happy with all the values. I'm going to just leave everything as the example values because we're going to just be doing a test deployment here. Let's just scroll down, and you can also see around the access control. By default, it's going to be restricted to administrators only, but if you've got more of your roles set up, you can actually click restricted to define the roles more specifically for your environment. Again, we're just going to leave it all default here. So let's hit deploy the stack. And now we just sit back and wait for the deployment to go ahead. And just like that, we've got this stack successfully deployed. So if we go and click into the WordPress stack, we can see our two containers. We have the WordPress database, and we also have the WordPress front end. And this is running on port 8080. So if I go and connect to port 8080, I should see the WordPress setup screen. We can also, before we go there, we can also check the volumes. So if we click on volumes, we can see it's also created those volumes for us. So everything that we defined in that Docker Compose file has all been created for us and managed for us as well. So coming back to stacks, again, everything is all deployed. So now let's go and verify that we can actually reach our WordPress deployment. And there we are. So at the top there, you can see we're on the local host on port 8080, and we've hit the WordPress install screen. So just like that, that is how easy it is to deploy your stacks using Portainer. So I hope you found this video helpful, and make sure to check out all of our socials. So we've got our Slack, our GitHub discussions that you can jump in if you've got any questions. Also the comment section of this video as well. We'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.